Hi, this is Dr. Fab Mancini, and I'm so excited about this video because we're going to be talking about how to develop good relationships with your friends. Now listen, I'm a pretty social person, but I can tell you that friendships are a little bit more work than most people think about. You may know a lot of people, but to really develop good friends, you really must spend the time and energy. I still remember, my son, when he was 5 years old, he came from school one day and he says, "Well, Dad, I don't have any friends." And I asked him a simple question. I said, "Well, how many people are you being a friend to? How many of the other kids are you being a friend to?" And he said, "Well, none of them, Dad." And that's when I said, well, the best way to make friends is to be a friend to somebody out there. You see, it's that engagement, it's that ability to be sensitive to other people. Instead of always expecting that people are going to do something for you, why not think about what you can do for somebody else? And when you think like that, all of a sudden now you realize that you're building very authentic and powerful relationship with friends. And let me tell you, friendships are very important, because I found one thing in my life is that the greatest opportunities in my life didn't come necessarily from the titles and my degrees. They didn't come from the experiences of my work. It came from the people in my life. The friends that I have, the people that suggested that I should do this or I should do that, the people that introduced me to somebody else that an opportunity came about. Are you beginning to see the importance of this topic? Because I want you to recognize that building these relationships with friends is very important in your success journey. It's very important because it is probably where most of your opportunities are going to come from. So I want to share with you at least 3 things that I have learned over the years of how to build these relationships with my friends. The first one is you want to set an engagement, whether it's a meal, whether it's going to the movies, going to the park, or attending a seminar together. Just create an experience. See, what I find is that when people spend quality time together, whether it's sharing a meal or going to church or temple or synagogue, or whether they go to a park and walk in the park, or whether they go and do an exercise class together, or whether they take a class together in college, it doesn't matter. Just have an experience together. The more experiences that you have with your friends, the more likely the bondness will be, because an experience creates feelings, and it's the feelings that attract everything in your life. So when you are creating those feelings, you're creating memories that are going to be very lasting. So the more experiences that you have with your friends, the longer and the stronger the relationship will be. So it doesn't matter whether you invite them and say, "Hey, let's go to the movie this weekend," or perhaps, "Why don't we go take a painting class together or a sculpture class together?" Or perhaps maybe even go to the bookstore and read, look for books that are influential in your life. But just create an experience. Now, it could also be that you want to go dancing with somebody, or you want to go and have a great meal in a new restaurant that just opened up in your neighborhood. Just create that experience, the more experiences. So ask yourself right now, who do I want to be better friends with? Who do I want to be individuals in my life that I want to consider my friends? And ask yourself the same question that I asked my son when he was 5 years old. Are you being a friend to them? And then begin to create these experiences that I'm talking about. Invite them to anything out there, anything that you know that is important to them. Because the other thing is that you want to be able to listen to what is important to them. If you know that they're into finance, maybe there is a seminar coming on over the weekend that's going to be one of the greatest minds of finance, and maybe you invite them to do that with you. Or perhaps, to share an experience of a movie that talks about somebody, a documentary about somebody big in finance. It doesn't really matter, but it needs to be something that is important to them, not only just important to you. And the more experiences that you create with these individuals, I promise you, the deeper and the stronger the relationships and the friendships that you're going to have. The second thing that I wanted to share with you is that one of the foundational things in building strong relationships with your friends is you have to be able to listen to their values and share your own values. I have found that those individual relationships that are shared in common values, those are the ones that you're going to have as your best friends for life. Just think about it. Think about when you were in high school. Who were the kids that you stay connected with, right? After all these years, who were the ones that you really stay connected, even though you might have not talked in 20 years? They were the ones that had similar values to you, that they were either maybe in the same sport that you were playing at the time or in the same club that you were at the time. Who were the people in college that you bonded with? And I'm not talking about all the friends and all the acquaintances that you made in college. Who are you still hanging around with today that you went to college to? And what was it about them that connected you? And you're going to find that it was the fact that you took time to really understand their values and share your values. But in order for you to share your values, you got to know what's important to you. You know, one time, one of my good friends said to me, if you want to know what your values are in life, pay attention to where you spend your time and where you spend your money. Believe it or not, that is where we spend our time and money. It's in our values. Whatever you're valuing today is where you're spending your time and money today. Now, that may change tomorrow or next week or next month, but at least you'll know what's important to you today. Now, sometimes we think that our values are one thing, and then we look and see, are we spending any time in those things? And you realize, no. Are we spending any money in those things? And you realize, no. That's not really your values. That's the thing you wish your values were, but until you spend time and money in them, they're not really going to become your values. So what is it that is important to you in your life? Ask yourself those questions. What are the things for you that you treasure? What are the things that you feel are the most critical things in your life? Now, granted, you're going to find that money is not going to be one of those things. Most people treasure more relationships, friendships, family relationships, work relationships than anything else. That's why this video is so important, because when you build those relationships authentically, when you build them with a strong foundation, these relationships are going to be the greatest treasures and the greatest legacy in your life. So please, 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 please pay attention to it and put them into practice. So find out what your values are. Make sure that next time you're with your friends, ask them, I was wondering, what is the three things that you value the most in your life? This is something that I used to ask every single one of my patients for many, many years, is that I wanted to know what their values were so I can communicate with them in a level that was more profound than just their pain and symptoms. That's not really what I wanted to be. That's not the kind of doctor that I signed up to be. I wanted to be the kind of doctor that was going to bond with them so deeply that we will discover the root causes of most of their physical ailments, emotional ailments, or even maybe spiritual ailments. And together, we were going to find solutions for them in order to surpass them, in order to move to the next phase. So once you identify your values, please make sure you share it with those people that you want to be closer friends with. And I promise you, you're going to see a whole different relationship, because that's when things really get exciting. That's when the bond is so strong that you almost read your mind sometimes, because you really understand the other person. You really took the time to understand the other person. And that's what friendships are built on. And the last thing is, I want you to compliment them as much as possible. See, one of the things that I realize in friendships or any relationship out there is that we don't spend enough time complimenting other people. In fact, most people are very judgmental by nature. They start looking at what is wrong with them rather than at least identifying what is right with them. So whether it's a personality and you see somebody that's funny all the time, right? Then you want to compliment that and say, you know what? I love the fact you make me laugh so much. Or maybe somebody's very intelligent, and you say, you know what, I just love to watch or ask you questions because you're so intelligent. Or maybe somebody that's very good with people, and you say, you know, I love to watch you with other people because you connect with them so deeply. Well, this is all a skill set for the most part. Developing this strong relationship with your friends is really a skill set. You're not born with this. But these three things that I just shared with you are going to take you to a whole new level with these relationships. And I want to make sure that you're complimenting as many of them as possible throughout the day. It doesn't matter whether it's something they're wearing, a personality trait that you love, something they did for you or somebody else. Just compliment, compliment, compliment. When you compliment, it's just like your children, that behavior is actually accentuated. They're going to do it more because you're being recognized for it. And I want to make sure that they understand that you're recognizing it because you care about them. You've been paying attention. See, most of the time, most people feel not connected with other people. They don't feel like nobody really is paying attention or even care of what they're doing. In fact, many times I talk to a lot of employees when I go speak in corporate America, and they feel that their bosses don't even acknowledge the great work that they're doing, or the fact that they had to skip a game on a Saturday because they were working in the office trying to get that project finished, and they never mention it. This is the kind of thing that I want you to know that human beings are longing for. They want attention. They want to be recognized. They want to be validated. And when you validate your friends with these three things, I want you to know that's what builds very strong friendships. So remember, the first thing that I want you to do is that I want to make sure that you create activities where you share experiences with these friends of yours, whether it's a meal, going to the movies, going dancing, taking a seminar, doing something that you can share together, playing a sport. The second thing is I want to make sure that you share your values with them and listen to their values. Ask what their values are and try to build that relationship around those values. And the third thing is I want to make sure that you compliment them as much as possible. Just give them as many compliments as possible, and you see how that relationship gets stronger and stronger. Look, if you like this video, I want you to please join this YouTube channel, because every single week I'm going to be sending you great videos with full of information that's going to improve your life for the better. Also, make sure that you click here and get the free products that we're offering. You know, we're putting together all this content and products for you at no charge at all, because I want you to start implementing them. I want you to start seeing the benefits that I've already experienced, but so many of my friends experience too. The third thing, I want you to join my website and just put your name and email on my website, and you'll start getting my newsletters. You start getting all these free offers that we do all the time. You start being notified whenever I'm speaking somewhere in a town nearby you, or whenever we have some special events going on. I want you to stay connected with you. And lastly, I want you to friend me and like me in Facebook and Twitter. I want to stay connected because through social media, I'm sending you great information that is brief and to the point, where you can actually stay on course to make sure that you're getting the most out of your day and make sure that you are truly fulfilling your potential. So I want you to live fully. I want you to love openly, and I want you to start making a difference today. Today is all we have, so please don't waste another minute. Make a difference today. I know you can, and you deserve it. All right, I'll see you on the next video.